What's going on, guys, and welcome back to WWE Network and Chill, where every single week I, Graham Giason Matthews, break down all the content that I watch on the WWE Network. Today we're talking about WWE Photo Shoot that aired after Raw last week on the WWE Network from February 19th, 2018. So the basic premise of the show is the superstars from both the past and the present sitting down and reliving moments from their careers in WWE and other companies, of course, that WWE acknowledges anyway, not including you won't expect any TNA moments here in today's Kurt Angle episode, but nonetheless, they sit back, relax, relive some moments and matches from their illustrious careers, and comment on each of them and share some stories. So I thoroughly enjoy the show. It's about 20 minutes long with this one, with this installment with Kurt Angle. So let's get started. The first photo he sees is of the debut of the Kurt Angle character in WWE with that cheesy ass smile. It's got the three eyes. He talks about the intelligence, the integrity, the intensity, and how it was Vince McMahon came up with the perfect character for Kurt Angle. He said, "You're going to be a great heel." And Kurt thought, "No, I'm going to be a babyface. Why wouldn't they cheer me?" And ultimately, look what happened. He was one of the greatest heels of his generation, if not of all time. So never doubt Vince. The guy might seem like he's out of touch at times, but the guy knows what he's doing more often than not. The next picture that we see is of Kurt in his first ever t-shirt that says "It's true on." He says it was a response to the fans, and it got over huge to the audience soon after. The next picture we see is of him delivering a moonsault to Rob Van Dam in one of their matches, I believe on SmackDown in 99, 2000, 01, around that time frame. He said it was one of his first, and it was always an aerial type of match whenever he was in the ring with Rob Van Dam, and called it an awesome match. I believe they had some more matches in TNA as well, but they had a great string of matches in WWE too. The next picture we see is of Kurt Angle getting his head shaved by Edge at Judgment Day 2002. Really funny story here. So Kurt Angle talks about how earlier on in the day, Vince told Kurt that you're going to lose, you're getting your head shaved, because we want you to become more of a badass and have people take you more seriously, which he would be in the years that followed. But anyway, he had joked to Edge. I don't know if it was a Vince thing or a Kurt thing. I think it might have been Vince who told Edge. But nonetheless, someone joked to Edge, not jokingly because they were serious at the time, or acted serious, that Edge was going to lose. And then Edge, according to Kurt, almost cried. He almost broke down. He started freaking out. What would I look like? Bald? Would I look ugly? I don't have the right head for this, and all this other stuff. And it wasn't until right before they went out for the match that Edge was informed that Kurt was indeed not going over, and that he was the one that was getting his head shaved, which was pretty funny. And then Kurt said that Edge shaved his head wrong. So instead of it shaving his head from the front, he shaved it from the back. So he was like causing his hair to be pulled out, and it was super painful. And Kurt was like, "What the hell are you doing?" The next picture we see is of Kurt during the midst of his ECW run in WWE, or when he went to ECW for a few months ahead of his departure. He said that Vince wanted him to start up ECW, or Vince wanted to start up ECW and wanted Kurt Angle to be the face of that brand. But Kurt Angle didn't know his plans for it. He didn't know what was going on. And he knew that he was their best wrestler, but he also felt like it was a demotion. And he was bitter about it too, which kind of obviously led to his release from the company, or his departure from WWE later on that summer. And he was also told flat out by Vince, "You're going to be making less money and be wrestling in smaller arenas." So Kurt's like, "Then why the hell would I do it?" And he had the suspicion that he might have done it. Vince might have done that because he saw Kurt as the new Taz of ECW, being that thoroughbred wrestler. We see a picture of Kurt Angle filming a commercial. He says it was a lot of fun, did a lot of that type of stuff during his time in WWE. I believe the commercial was for the SmackDown video game, Here Comes the Pain, or one of those early video games from the company, and he never knew what was coming next. We see a shot of him with Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania 29, not WrestleMania 29, rather WrestleMania 19, of him endorsing Brock after their great WrestleMania match for the WWE Championship. Kurt Angle called it an emotional night because of his neck injury and knew that he was going to be getting surgery coming out of the show. But he was concerned about Brock when he hit that, or attempted to land, that shooting star press that got botched. And it looked like he got super fucked up, and he thought he broke his neck, and Brock wouldn't respond. And then when Kurt kept on asking him, "Are you okay? Are you okay? Is your neck broken?" And then eventually Brock said, "I think I just broke my neck." Thankfully, I don't think that was the case. Otherwise, we would have heard more about it. But still, that was a scary moment nonetheless. Kurt Angle does say, though, that Brock proved to him on that night that he deserved to be in that primetime position, as he did to everyone else in the audience, that Brock was indeed the next big thing. We get a shot of him shaking hands with Vince. He discusses his longtime friendship and relationship with Vince. He said he became a second father, which he had talked about in the past in that WWE 24 special we saw on Kurt, last summer, right after he came back to the company. He had said that Kurt questioned a lot of the decisions that Vince would make, but Vince would almost always be right. But he would always trust him too, and that Vince always looked out for his best interests. We get a shot of Kurt Angle shaving the head of Big Show on SmackDown, the infamous angle where he shot him with a fucking tranquilizer dart and then proceeded to shave his head. So the idea behind that angle was that Vince told Kurt, obviously it was Vince who pitched the idea, that he wants to think of Big Show as a huge bear. And after shaving his head, he wants him to hold up his head like he was the bear that he just killed. Like he was proud of the prize he had just shot and killed. You know what I mean? He was so embarrassed to be a part of it, Kurt was, he said. But Big Show, he had said, took it well. We get our next shot of Kurt Angle winning at the Olympics. He gets almost emotional talking about this, that he said it meant a lot for his dad, and that he was the least likely in his family to do anything remotely close to that, yet he was, and he was in shock at the time, and he said his induction into the National Wrestling Hall of Fame was the most important thing he'd ever received for his amateur wrestling career. We get a shot of Team Angle, him, Charlie Haas, and Shelton Benjamin, and he also admits what many of us already knew, that it did not survive long enough. And Kurt speculates that it was likely due to his various neck injuries, because at the time that Team Angle was at its peak in 2003, Kurt got hurt, and when he came back, he kicked out Charlie Haas and Shelton Benjamin. And then Benjamin went to Raw, and we never saw them reunite after that, at least as a unit, all three of them together. But he did say they got really hot as the top heel faction on SmackDown when Kurt Angle got hurt, and then he had to boot them from the group when he came back, and they never really lived up to their full potential. We get a shot of Eddie Guerrero as the WWE Champion. He said that backstage he was very low-key, but he was always having fun in the ring, a great showman, always had a connection with the crowd that no one will ever be able to replicate, which is absolutely true. A lot of high praise for Latino heat here. And we also get a shot of the loss to Eddie at WrestleMania 20 with Kurt Angle sitting in the ring looking at the boot that he had just taken off of Eddie when he was duped in their WWE Championship match, saying that this is the kind of WrestleMania moment that you want, that will be forever remembered by fans, and that it was a brilliant finish. Our next shot is of AJ Styles right before Battleground 2016. The timing of it really doesn't matter. It's just a shot of AJ Styles. The funny thing about this is that I know they talked about the relationship that Angle and AJ had very briefly in TNA, without even really mentioning TNA in that WWE 24 special last year. But still, though, WWE never really acknowledges TNA. He didn't say TNA here. He didn't use the initials TNA or Impact Wrestling, whatever. But he did acknowledge their past, because if it wasn't for TNA, these two would have never met. They really have no other history in wrestling outside of TNA. So it was funny they included this here, because normally, you would figure the people watching this, the audience that WWE is targeting their stuff to, doesn't know what TNA is and doesn't watch TNA, but they must have if they were acknowledging their history. Nonetheless, though, Kurt Angle does say that it blew his mind that he wasn't in WWE 10 years ago. And he was also dumbfounded when he met him in 2006 when he went over to TNA, and that he already wasn't signed by WWE. And he admits and he praises AJ, the Phenomenal One, for being the most talented wrestler he had ever been in the ring with. And it was great to finally see him get to WWE, and he was very proud of him. So, again, a lot of high praise for AJ Styles there by Kurt Angle. We get a shot of Kurt in his street fight with Shane McMahon from King of the Ring 2001 when they put each other through those glass panels. One of the most brutal and ugliest matches he has ever been a part of. He said it was the greatest and worst match he's ever been a part of as well. Needless to say, he hurt his tailbone, which was why he could not get Shane up and could not pop his hips in the suplexes to put him through the glass, which is why Shane failed to break the glass on two separate occasions. So they repeated the spot when Shane said he was fine, which was miraculous because Shane landed right in his fucking head. So also on that show, and he said he loved the match, though it was a very painful experience to say the least. And they were both gushing blood. Anyway, so Kurt Angle was pretty messed up coming out of that match. Stone Cold Steve Austin also got injured on that show. So as a result, coming out of that pay-per-view, they were put together and were able to do the very funny vignettes that we all still talk about to this very day with like the little, is it the ukulele or the banjo, whatever it's called, and the cowboy hats. That was a direct result of both guys getting hurt on the same show. If the timeline works out, and I believe it does. Anyway, so we get our next shot of Kurt as the GM of SmackDown, like in the wheelchair, how he played up the knee injury or the ankle injury, whatever it was. He said it was very fulfilling and that Vince wanted the attention on that knee. So when they eventually revealed that it was a hoax, it would mean something. So when Vince fired him as GM of SmackDown on TV, like Vince was swinging the frickin' crutch at him, and he wanted Angle to legitimately duck and get out of the way, otherwise he would hit him. So he had to duck out of the way almost a few times. He got caught right in the head, Kurt said, and it felt like Vince actually wanted to hit him, which was funny. And our last shot is of the Hall of Fame, which obviously meant a lot to Kurt if you watched that WWE 24 special from last summer. And he said it was one of those honors that only the best of the best get. It's never a guarantee, and it's the fans that want moments from your character. The matches are also great, but it's the moments that fans want from any character in WWE. He still can't believe that he was inducted, and it shows how important you are to the WWE Universe and how important you were to the fans as well to be inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame. So, great episode overall. That was it for Photo Shoot with Kurt Angle. So far, we've had The Miz, Cesaro, Eric Bischoff, and now Kurt Angle. I think they've shown other highlights with, I think Kofi Kingston was the other one, as well as Charlotte Flair. So I imagine those will be shown in the coming weeks, months on the WWE Network after Raw. Speaking of which, whatever airs after Raw tonight on the WWE Network, I will be breaking down right here on WWE Network and Chill next week here on the show. So be sure to stay tuned for that. In the meantime, and in between time, guys, be sure to like this video, drop a comment, share the video, and subscribe to the channel for more daily content. I'm Graham Giason Matthews, guys. Enjoy Raw tonight. Have a great rest of your week, and I'll catch your ass down the road.